Carrot Attack podcast for myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. I'm back again. Oh my gosh, back again. I'm sounding like flipping troops. God forbid. But yeah, guys, I was meant to record for you yesterday, but I'm not gonna lie. I just couldn't be bothered to like get out. Arsenal put me in a bad mood yesterday, so we're not gonna talk about them at all. I'm joking. We're gonna talk about them, but yeah, guys, make sure you check out the Jordan Cousins interview, the Cambridge midfielder. I put that out on my channel. That came out on Friday, I think it was, last Friday. So yeah, we're just going to go into it because I just want to hurry up and get past the Arsenal because they annoyed me. But what I will say about the game, though, obviously, we're going to go straight in. It finished 2-2. And I think I'm not going to break down the game. In fact, no, I will break down the game. I think Tottenham played well, if I'm being totally honest. Tottenham played well, but I think they only played... Sorry, to get myself comfortable. I think Tottenham did well. They did extremely well. I think Arsenal definitely allowed them into the game. And once we allowed them into the game, all that momentum that they had, it was hard to get that back. So for 35 minutes of that first half, Arsenal should have really put them away, put them to bed. Like, Saga gave Udogie a torrid time. We were pressuring them high up the field. Declan Rice was not giving them a sniff, like, and was actually the one bossing that midfield. I know everyone wants to talk about Bissouma bossing that midfield, but that only happened once Declan Rice went off. So we really should have been 2-0 up. And do you know what? Even with Jesus and that chance he had, I know a lot of people say he's not a killer in front of goal, but I still expect better than what he did when he took the ball off Maddison and blazed it over. I still expect much better than that, and even by the standards that anyone might have of him, where he's not clinical or whatever, he 100% needs to at least be hitting targets, 100%. But I'm not gonna lie to you. When I saw in the second half that Declan Rice wasn't coming out, and I saw that Fabio Vieira wasn't coming out, I said, "Oh well." I wasn't really too bothered about Havertz, but the Declan Rice one was the problem. And not to say Jorginho ain't good, but he's not Declan Rice. And what Declan Rice was giving us in that first half, Jorginho would not be able to do. So, you know, we started off that second half all right, if I'm being totally honest. Got a penalty. Let me tell you this now. That was never a penalty. It was never a penalty. And obviously I'm going to take it as an Arsenal fan, but it was never a penalty. And Romero would feel hard done by, as would any other Tottenham player. But obviously Saka goes and puts it in. But listen, you see Jorginho's mistake here. I'm not here to talk about what he should have done or what, but it's criminal. It's actually criminal. And if you know me, you know I always want to give grace to certain players. But what he was thinking there, I don't know. I don't know. And last man pretty much, and he basically gave them a clean route to goal. Like, there's so many things you could have done and you lost the ball there. And to be honest, I know in football it happens and people make mistakes, but that's almost unforgivable. I'm not going to be like, get out of the club or whatever. I'm not going to do that, but that mistake was really, really bad. And then it followed through like throughout the half, where I tweeted at the time saying Jorginho's on banter because he was playing like he was on banter. He couldn't get his first touch right. He kept losing the ball, getting displaced. And yeah, he was just on stuff. And if I'm being totally honest, they ran that midfield in the second half. They controlled the midfield. Havertz is not the player you need to be coming on to take control of midfield. And I'm not gonna come and slate him when other people are slating him. What I will say though is that he doesn't give himself a chance in regards to some of the performances. I think sometimes with Havertz, he can just exist on the pitch and he's not really offering much. And I think that needs to change. In the Champions League in midweek, we saw Havertz actually contribute and actually playing well. He didn't score, he didn't get an assist, but he played well. And I think too many times it's the not playing well aspect of it. It's the just being an extra man. And it's funny because people used to accuse Ozil of just being like, as you know, they used to accuse Ozil of being someone that the team carries. The same thing that they're accusing Havertz of now. And I'm saying this now. Ozil was never what Havertz is now. And I'm not saying Havertz get out of the club. I'll leave other people to say that. But I'm not saying Havertz, you're rubbish or whatever. Again, I'll leave other people to say that. But Ozil was never this. So whenever people say, "Oh yeah, the team was carrying Ozil," Ozil used to just walk around. This is what they're saying Ozil was, which he wasn't. But I'm gonna big up Tottenham. I'm gonna say that Tottenham, they look good. They actually came out and actually started playing. I didn't think they would do that. I think if Arsenal were on form and Arsenal were playing as they should be playing, we would have got them out because they were there for the taking, to be honest. But you can't allow teams like Tottenham to actually, with the way that they're playing now, with their confidence up right now, you can't allow them to get that momentum because they've got players that will punish you. Madison turned Saka naughty, and even for the second goal, set up Son. Nice pass into him, simple pass by his standards, but he still had to do it at the end of the day. And you've got Son putting it away. You've got Basuma who grew into the game, and you know what? Actually, I find it so funny. I'm going to talk about two reactions. I'm going to talk about Tottenham fans' reaction. Just lets me know that Arsenal are the big fish. I mean, we know it already, but you would think that Arsenal lost the game yesterday. I know it might feel like it, but really and truly, when you take a step back, Arsenal did not lose the game. Yes, we wish we played better. We wish that you could have seen more from them, and being more clinical and more ruthless in and out of possession, but they weren't at the end of the day, and it's not the end of the world. I'm seeing all sorts of people that are being told to get out of the club, and people forget that these are the players that they're hoping will play well next game. That's not to say you should not criticize players. Listen, criticize who you want to criticize, but the outrage of some of the takes I've been seeing about Arsenal, you would think that all of a sudden we are the worst team. Like, come on, guys, be outraged. I was looking at that, and the very first thing I said was, it's not good enough. It was not good enough at all. But what I'm not about to do is now start saying, this guy should be at the club, that guy should be at the club. Listen. Just take it easy. Let's just take it easy, man. And yeah. But that's all I have to say on the match. I think David Raya, that save that David Raya made. And it's funny seeing Ramsdale applaud and cheer him on. I was rating that. But Gary Neville said in commentary, he's either the most supportive backup or the best actor. I think he's a supportive goalkeeper because I genuinely do believe that he wants to see him well, he wants to see him do well. As much as he wants to be first choice, he wants to also see Raya do well and don't want to let the team down. But on Ramsdale, what I would say about him as well, though, is that I was looking at clips of Ramsdale in his first season. And in the first season, if you remember, he used to give it to the crowd. So in Ramsdale's first season, he used to give it to the crowd. He used to, his distribution was on point. He was making crazy saves. His personality was out there, and he was a better goalkeeper for it. But I don't know if it's a confidence thing or someone might have told him to just calm it down a bit. But since that's been gone, since that's come out of his game, his form has also gone down. And that's not to say he's a bad keeper, because I like Ramsdale. And I'm actually surprised that they went out and got Raya. And I'm not here to say Raya's better or blah, blah, blah. I don't care. But I think they're both two top goalkeepers. But I would say that Ramsdale, his form and his quality definitely has altered or just dipped a bit. And it's it coincides with his, with the way that he's not really showing his personality as much and, doing things that he was doing in his first season. So, at the end of the day, Arsenal have two top goalkeepers. I do think Raya is the better keeper, but again, who knows what Arteta's thinking. I do think it's over for Ramsdale being number one though, 100%. Unless Raya has an absolute howler. I don't think Raya would have left Brentford unless he had some sort of assurances that he's going to be number one. So yeah, that's what I'm saying about Arsenal. In the comments, let me know what you thought about the game. Let me know what you think about Tottenham. Um, I don't think I think Tottenham will give it about two more games. I think the real Tottenham will start to show because they do still have certain players in that squad, and it is a bit early for them to be really challenging how people are saying that they're gonna challenge a bit, if you know what I mean. Well, I don't think people are saying they're gonna challenge, but in regards to what they're doing now, I think it's really, really good form, and I think he's probably getting the maximum out of the players he currently has. I don't think their squad is good enough to cope with a few injuries, but as it stands right now, they're doing their business, and you just have to. As much as I hate, you just have to big them up. On to Liverpool. What I do want to quickly say about Liverpool as well is that obviously Liverpool beat West Ham. Paqueta, see Paqueta, yeah. I feel so bad that I feel sorry for him that he's got this betting scandal over his head because had that not happened, he'd be playing at Man City right now, and he's Man City quality. He is top four quality, top two quality. Paqueta, what some of the things I see him do, you just look at him and just think, West Ham are so lucky to have a player like that. And why did no one else go in for him? I remember Arsenal were linked with him heavy, and he ended up going to West Ham. I wish we had Paqueta in our team. He's such a he's just a really really good player. But what I want to say, yeah, I said it was during the off season on my podcast with Loon. Shout out Loon every time. I said to Loon, I said, you see Nunez, even on another podcast by myself, I said, you see Nunez, yeah, if he plays and it clicks, problems. And I'm seeing it already. That goal he scored the other day, the volley, and even I know he scored a penalty the other day, but they all count. Like he's notching up the goals, notching up the goals, notching up the goals, and he's always getting in the positions to score. And he's just always a threat. Coming off the bench, he's a threat. Starting the game, he's a threat. And if he has a real solid run in the team and becomes a starter for them over the course of the season, I'm not lying. I genuinely think he gets 20 goals across all competitions. Nunez will get 20 goals across all competitions. Like, there's no way he's guaranteed for whatever reason. He's guaranteed to get 3, 4 chances in a game. All he has to do is put away one of them. Will he put away one of them? I don't know. But some days he'll put away 3. Some days he'll put away 0. But he's looking good. He's looking good, and Liverpool are looking good. Szoboszlai, what a player! What a player! Like Liverpool are onto something with him, and they're looking like their old selves again. It's looking like Klopp has rejuvenated that midfield, rejuvenated the team, and they're looking like a team with bite. They're looking like a team with guile. They're looking like a team that just is ready to actually fight for another Premier League. And I think Man City will get the Premier League. I think Man City are so far ahead of, oh gosh, I think Man City are so far of everyone else, and everyone else is just battling to be second and stay in touch because it's so hard to bridge that gap right now. Like already it was hard to bridge that gap. Arsenal pushed them really, really far and went close to getting that league, but it's going to be hard to match the levels that I think that they're going to have this year. I think when you look at some of the players that they've brought in, Nunez, is it Nunez? Matthias Nunez, Matthias Nunez, whatever his name is. What a player. Doku, what a player. You know what I'm saying? Vardio, what a player. Like, these are the players that they're bringing in. And on top of that, a special mention I want to give is to Alvarez. Alvarez has won everything there is to win already. I think that if Alvarez was playing for any other team, he'd be starting number 9. He is that good. I think that obviously because he has Haaland in front of him, he's not going to get that number 9 position. He's not going to start every game in that position. But what's actually happening is that he's playing off the striker because he has to play. He is that good that he has to play. And I just want to give an honourable shout out to him because a lot of teams would be lucky to have him. And I think Pep even said something like that. Like, he's probably the first name on the team sheet I mean, Pep likes to big up his players all the time. He'll probably say that about someone else next week, but Alvarez is a player, an absolute player. And, if Haaland gets 30 goals this season, I think that Alvarez probably gets to 15 to 20 goals like this season. That's how good I think he is. And now that it's looking like he's gonna be playing and starting a lot, um, yeah, the goals are gonna be mad. And Rodri banned for the Arsenal match or free match ban. I don't know what he was thinking, by the way, against Nottingham Forest, flipping fighting. Like, it come out of nowhere. I was watching it, I was like, wait, I know like they're gonna square up to each other, cool, but his reaction was so unlike Rodri. I just don't know what happened. Someone needs to look into the match fixing because yes, there was probably like a couple bets that went on for him to get a red card. Just joking, or booking at least. He probably thought we'd get a booking, but it's going to be interesting to see how Man City cope because he is such an important player for them, and I've seen that the only backup they have in that position, that natural position, the natural replacement for him is Calvin Phillips. And what I would say about Calvin Phillips is that when you look at the players that have come in, so Kovacic has come in, Nunez has come in. When you look at these players who have come in and are playing regularly ahead of him, like Calvin Phillips must either be looking like, yo, what's going on? Like, I need more game time. Or he must just be happy to be getting that money and being part of that team, just a part of the team, because he doesn't play. These players have come and surpassed him already. You can see that Calvin Phillips is like what, however many choices behind. He's like last throw of the dice, like when you just want to put players on or whatever. But I don't get it because he's a player Calvin Phillips is a player that's got so much ability. He's such a good player. Before he went to Man City, he could have his pick of so many teams, if I'm being honest. Any top team he could have. But I feel like he's just stalled his career going to City. He's won things, 100%. So he'll probably tell you it's the best move for him. But I just feel like I said, when you see players like Nunez coming in, Kovacic coming in, they play and they get ahead of him and surpass him in that team already. I just think you know what, you've won your trophies now. I think it's time for him to go and actually play because people are actually starting to talk about Calvin Phillips as if he's not a good player. When he gets called up for England, yes, he doesn't deserve to be there, but people talk about his quality as if he's not a good player anymore. And I think that's only because he's gone from week in, week out playing, being one of the most sought after players in the Premier League, to just being a backup player, a squad player, someone that's just a bit part. And that's not him. He's actually a really, really good player. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say on City. Check the time quick. All right. So, next, I'm going to get into Chelsea. Oh, my gosh. Listen. You see Chelsea, yeah? At the beginning of the season, I was saying that they looked really good in pre-season. And I knew it was only pre-season, but I also factored in the fact that Pochettino was there and he's a good coach. Not a proven winner, but he's a good coach. And the fact that they've spent $1 billion on some of the best talent in the world. So my thing was that they've got too much quality to just be bad. When the last, before Ted Bowley came in and whatnot, they had quality players. Some of them were over the hill, but you could see why they maybe weren't competing like they should. Whereas now, with the money that they spent, the players that they brought in should really and truly be doing better, 100%. And I don't understand why they're not. I don't know if it's just a Pochettino thing. I don't think they're going to sack him. No, I don't think they're going to sack him. But I don't know what it is about them. I think they definitely need experience in their team. I think as much as they've got injuries and everything, what doesn't help Chelsea is the fact that there's just too many players there. I feel like you can never really get any real continuity amongst the group when there's just so many players that you're having to pick from. Imagine having 23, 24, 25 players always vying to play, like already all top quality, top starters, And then you got this injury, that injury. At every game, the squad is changing. There's no real continuity, so it's hard to build that up. On top of that, like I said, you don't have any experience in the team. I mean, no, not any. Sorry, apart from Thiago Silva, Raheem Sterling, Reece James is currently injured. Chilwell, maybe. You don't really have experience there. Everyone is new. You've got players like Mudryk who's having a hard time but still playing. Um, you've got Enzo who I'm not really. It's not really going well for him right now. Top player by the way. Casado hasn't really started off the brightest, and you've got players all trying to play in the system. You've got a manager trying to get them to play in the system. Confidence is low. Like it's just not working for them right now. And a team like that should not be losing to Aston Villa the way they did. I don't think that. I don't think that Chelsea were unlucky. If I'm being totally honest. Um, yeah, they should not be losing to Aston Villa. Who did they lose to before? Was it Bournemouth? I don't know who they lost to before, but it's just not good enough. And I don't like I said, I don't think that they're going to change the manager anytime soon. But I don't. What I feel like is going to happen, I feel like it's just going to get to a point where the season will kind of just fizzle out. So if it hasn't been addressed, if they don't go on a run or fix their position in the league by January, I feel like the season will just fizzle out again. And then we're going to be talking about next season where they're going to spend however much money again. It's just they're just not good enough. They're just not a great team at all right now. So buying experienced players will definitely help. And I don't know, they're just not good. They're just not good right now. Next on the docket, United. In fact, before I talk about United, let me talk about Luton, Sheffield United, and who's the other team that came up? Luton, Sheffield United. How can I forget this? Let me just check the Premier League table. Basically, all three teams that came up here, honestly, they're all going down. They're all going down. Oh, Burnley. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, Luton, Sheffield United, and Burnley. The thing about Burnley, though, I do think, I don't know. I think, yeah, you know what? Burnley play some neat stuff. Burnley play good football, but it's not enough in this league. They've got a lot of quality on the ball in regards to the way they keep the ball, but there's no real bite. There's no real threat. Like as much as they were on top of United, I always felt like United would come back simply because United actually have the individual quality to make a difference. So Burnley have the overall quality in regards to their, how they want to play and their ethos and the methods and the tactics and their culture, like what they want to do. But they don't have the individual players to actually carry that over the line. Whereas United, they don't have any sort of team play. I couldn't tell you how they play, but they have the individual quality, which is what we saw. Johnny Evans with that pass out to Bruno. And people know I always get onto Bruno. Like, I always get onto Bruno because I just don't think he does enough more time. But credit where credit's due. You see that finish, it's not an easy finish at all. So when I saw that come over his shoulder and then I saw him just rifle that in, you have to just hold your hands up and say that was quality from him. He didn't do anything else in the game, if you ask me. But that's just normal. If he doesn't score or assist, he doesn't really do anything, to be honest. But yeah, United are just looking. I don't know, man. They're just looking really. Anytime a top team really comes up against them, I think they'll be in trouble. I think, like I said, if Burnley had real individual quality, that would have been a different game. It would have been a different game. I think Rashford as well, yeah. Listen, I'm a big fan of Rashford. Rashford, listen, I just wish that you didn't pass only when it's the last resort. Sometimes just pass the ball, please. It's not every day you want to just run past 10 people and then try to do no. And it's not that you can't do it. Listen, like I said, you're probably not going to see this, but Rashford, you're my guy. You're greedy, but you're my guy. Just sometimes pass the ball because I can imagine it gets really frustrating and it slows down a lot where if you're not running 100 miles per hour, you're just holding on to the. Look at you. Look at me trying to coach Rashford as if me, Rashford, do what you're doing. I know nothing. Just do what you're doing. But pass the ball. That's literally all I'm trying to say. Sometimes pass. Oh, also, this Sancho situation, yeah, it stinks because I don't think this problem happen. In fact, it doesn't. This problem doesn't happen if Ten Hag doesn't come out and say what he said in the media. To be totally honest with you, and I think for Sancho to not be, oh, lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Yeah. Oh, sorry. So what I'm saying is that if Ten Hag doesn't come out and say what he's saying, this whole situation obviously doesn't happen. But what doesn't help is the fact that I feel like Sancho clearly feels like what was said about him misrepresented him, and he's not having that. And as much as he wrote the thing saying he always just wants to give his all to the club and whatnot, I think his stance on refusing to apologize, it says a lot, and I think it says a lot about the current situation. I think it says a lot because he genuinely feels wronged. I don't think anyone in Sancho's, I don't think anyone that looks at Sancho's history or whatever will ever see him speaking out or anything like this. But I think Ten Hag saying, banishing him from all first team opportunities until he apologizes, and Sancho refusing to apologize, I think it's just in a bad place right now. And what should really be happening is that they should do whatever they can do to solve the situation, because the mad thing is that Sancho would be playing right now. Whilst Anthony is dealing with his case, Sancho would probably be playing right now. So it's in everyone's best interest to actually just sort it all out. But I said it on the last podcast, I don't think Ten Hag calling out Sancho the way he did straight after a match, and even though he didn't say it was your fault we lost or whatever, they lost the match, and you're talking about Sancho, like, you could have, when you were asked the question, he could have easily just tried to find a way he's not available or whatever. But the manner in which he said it took the attention away from a loss and put it all on Sancho. And if Sancho ain't having that, he ain't having that. I mean, I definitely feel like he should just apologize if he wants to. No, he should. He should, just to get going and play football. Because what's happening is that there's a narrative going around now that he's the bad egg and he's the disruptive force. And because he ain't repaid the however much they spent on him, he hasn't repaid that money and he hasn't been playing well. He's not committed and he's the problem. When really and truly, that might not be the case. And Ten Hag's handling of the situation, I'm not really here for it. He fell out with Ronaldo. He fell out with Sancho. I'm pretty sure there's another person. He's not having Van der Beek. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that when you're underperforming as a manager, as a team, these things can't happen. I think if they were winning and playing well, I think people would say that he's doing all right. But I think when you start making these, when these things start happening and you're not playing well, people start looking at you like, And Sancho's probably looking at it thinking, I'm probably going to outlast you. Because as it stands, I think Man United are probably 2 games away from Ten Hag being under pressure. Not going to lose it, but under pressure. I honestly believe so. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I need to talk about. Let's see. Guys, in the comments, like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. And I'll probably see you tomorrow. Got another player coming on next week. Hope you like that one. And yeah, we're out.